Hello there, beautiful people. Thank you so much for tuning in. As always, today we're going to cultivate and honor and stretch our breathing. And today we're going to do some spinal undulations and a little bit of some nice movement for the hips. Last few sessions, we've been doing a lot of nice stuff for the upper body, lungs, shoulders, neck. So we're going to return the favor in the lower parts. So let's begin by settling ourselves in, really treasuring this short period of time as a lovely entry into some internal process. We'll begin sitting tall. I invite you to plant your feet, find a place on the seat of your chair where you're aware of your sit bones. You can even wiggle just a little bit to remind yourself what they feel like and where they are. We want to plant them, plant the sit bones and feel. And the same way we want to plant the feet, let's just lift and drop lightly the heels up and down, up and down, up and down. And then lift the toes, lower the toes, lift the toes, lower the toes. And just feel the feet, wiggle them around, wiggle your toes as though you're in the grass or the beach or the mud or something like that. We often engage our imagination to create different shifts inside the body. So if you're not on the beach, you're out in the forest, pretend you are, or take yourself to your favorite place. So we've got the foundation organized. Now we want to take the fingertips to the base of the skull and just lightly guide the skull upwards. It's as though you had a balloon on a string and you want the balloon to rise so that the cord or the string of the spine creates a little bit of extra space, a little bit of extra elongation. You suddenly get a little taller. You decompress. And just feel your breath. Take an inhalation and exhale with a sigh, clearing the pathways. And we'll do that one more time. Inhale, exhale out with a sigh. And pause for a moment and feel your breath. You've got a lovely container set up with a foundation, a top, beautiful posture, room inside. And notice your breath, without any need to change or fix anything, just as it is, as it is. It's perfect as it is. And notice how it feels. As I'll ask you to check in a little bit later, and we'll just see, are some of these movements or some of these experiences having an effect on the breath? Okay, now with the shoulders, we're going to lift the shoulders as we inhale. And really lift the rib cage a little bit as you do this. And exhale, let the shoulders melt down, but don't let yourself shrink. I'm going to turn sideways because we'll add a little something. As we lift the shoulders, we want to lift them forward. Do you see how there's a little extra stretch in this upper back area? And as we exhale, we want them just to naturally roll and melt back. So on the inhale, breathe into that. It may even create a bit more space for your breath. And exhale, we just relax. Inhale, we're not forcing anything, but we are setting an intention so we're clear. And one more time, inhaling a slight rounding up and exhale a slight lowering down. Okay, check in with that. Move your neck a little bit from side to side. I feel like my neck wants to do something as well. It wants to play. So keeping that length, just a soft turn to one side. Inhale, center, soft turn to the other side. Remember, we want the turning to be effortless and comfortable. We're not trying to push into our end range of motion. This can be a big change of mindset for a lot of us who've been taught that it's all or nothing. It's a spectrum. We have a spectrum from zero or stillness to big, and every day might be a little bit different where we are on that particular spectrum. Okay, so I'm going to slide back just a little bit. We're going to do a bit of spinal mobilization on the chair, because this can really help us feel the movement of the hips. So let's feel that right now. You can place your hands on your hip bones, and you want the where your hands, that rocks back as we exhale, and the top of the pelvis rocks forward as we inhale. The feet are on the ground, the thighs are relaxed. What we're looking for is an easy, literally an easy rocking, like a light swinging of the pelvis. We're not trying to muscle ourselves in or out. There's a place for that, for building power. But these little sessions I'm dedicating to effortless ease. Effortless ease with some elegant lift. We're not getting sloppy, but we're looking for relaxed movement. So pelvis is rocking. If you've ever picked up an ice cube with a set of tongs, the ice cube can rock between the little claws of the tongs. Same thing with a sugar cube if you've just got it held. So we want that feeling of easy rocking at whatever pleasant pace is good for you. Now, if you relax in the upper body, there's going to be a natural response, and we're going to capitalize on that a little bit. So let's pause for a moment. We're going to turn the palms facing back, and the outside of the arm and the outside of the elbow are going to lead forward. This is focusing on the chest. And then we're going to rotate the palms, rotate the upper arms, and relax and open the chest. So let's exhale as the arms float through, and inhale as the arms and palms rotate. You'll notice that the neck, without even trying, as long as you're not holding the neck is going to happily come along. So you may have noticed I've been focusing on the upper body here, and that's for the shoulders. Let's put it all together and make sure we're using this precious part of our body. Okay, so as we exhale, the waistline goes back, and the backs of the arms come forward, and the shoulders, let's lift them up a little bit. See that difference? Lifting up, but still curving. And then relaxing, lifting the shoulders up a little bit and relaxing. And one more time, exhaling and inhaling. Okay, now I'm going to switch the breathing on you. Don't panic. Please don't panic. Notice if your mind went, oh, I don't know if I can do that. We're also relaxing any thoughts that come in. If you have a sense of ease, if you're breathing and approaching all of this work with a playful, experimental attitude, which I invite, everything will work out. I promise you. If we overthink things, then it's going to tighten up. And when thoughts tighten, our bodies tighten. So what we're going to do is exactly the same movement, which I know you're feeling because I can feel you feeling it. We're going to inhale as we raise the shoulders and round the back, and we're going to relax and exhale as we open. Just try this a few times, small at the first. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. And let's do one for good measure, one more, because it's going to show up again. Inhale and exhale and relax. That wasn't so bad, was it? In fact, it feels a little different. It can have quite a different quality. And by now you may be saying, ooh, I like the first one better, or I like the second one better. They're both yours. I think it's valuable to do breathing patterns with both movements because it just gives that much more depth. So now let's stand up, because to work with the hips, we also want to warm up the structures below. We've done pretty well with the spine and the upper body. So now let's place the feet together and bend the knees, and the knees touch each other. Rub the palms to get some nice heat, loving heat. And we're going to caress our knees, placing the palms on the knees and gently sending beautiful healing energy with our minds, our breath, our hands into our knees. You can even massage your knees, or you can hold your palms over the kneecaps, and we're taking relaxed circles. Now let your feet and ankles be relaxed. We often think we need to keep the feet flat on the floor. Not here. We want to roll the heel, the outside of the foot, the ball and toes, the other outside of the foot. So you're shifting the weight around the soles of your feet and breathing. Now, some of you might be going lower than me because that's best for you. Some of you might be higher than me. Find what's right for you. Pick up the vibe from me and then customize for yourself. And of course, we're going to go the other way and look away from the camera for a few moments. Just look at your knees, look at the floor, check that your feet are wiggling, your toes are expressive, and appreciate your beautiful body. Let's come on up now and come up all the way with the chest open, the feeling of being suspended from the sky as well as planted to the earth. And we're going to take the feet maybe hip distance or shoulder, and we're just going to sway the hip out to one side and then the other. So I often do this: inhale up the center, exhale out to the side, inhale up the center, exhale out to the side. If you want to do it, exhale up and inhale to the side, exhale to collect and inhale to the side. So another version of the same principle we used earlier with the spinal undulation feeling. Whatever feels comfortable for you. If one doesn't work, forget it. If it's tightening up, forget about it. Go to where the ease is, because we definitely want ease in our hips. All right, now with the knees bent, I'm going to turn sideways, and we want to get that same feeling of swinging the hips. Get my hands out of the way, and we're not tucking, we're not sticking out, we're swinging the hips. You may find that your knees want to pulse a little bit, but that's not the main event. The main event is the pelvis is rocking, rocking, nice and easy, same as what we did on the chair. All right, now hip circles, but we're going to do a little walking first. So just on the spot, you're going to shift the weight to one foot. The other foot can just lift the heel, or you might take the weight completely off that foot. We're shifting the weight from side to side. We're maintaining our suspension above, and we're letting our hips do what they want to do naturally. So I'll turn around, and this would be the way you'd be looking. So you can copy me if that's easier for you. And just shifting the weight, allowing the hip to move to the side, and letting the upper body stay relaxed so it's responsive, and maintaining that connection above. You may be wondering, why are we doing this? You'll see in a moment. Okay. We're going to do just a little bit of extension of the hips forward. Let's inhale here and exhale, just a tiny flexion. This is not a big movement, but we want to give the message to the fronts of the hips to extend and a message for the hips to flex. We're staying tall on this. It's not a forward bend per se. It's moving the hips a little bit differently. We were rocking the pelvis. We're still moving the pelvis, but it's rocking forward and back. Okay, we've got all the pieces we need for a yummy hip circle. So what we're going to do is keep the feet about hip distance apart. We shift our weight to one side and take the hips around to the front and shift the hips to the other side. So this is a little half circle around the front. I'll give you more contrast, a half circle around to the other side. So we're going hip out to the side, around to the front, to the other side. Hip, front around the side. We're drawing a semicircle, and we're not changing the knees. We're just adding a nice front of the circle. If you want to be jazzy with the hands, You can float them around and touch them jauntily to the other hip, or you can leave them really simple. The hip is the main event, so make sure you don't get distracted from this front half of a circle. So you may have guessed we're going to do a back half of a circle. So take your hip out to one side and you're weighting your leg there. The other leg doesn't have any weight on it. And you take your hips around the back, that's that little flex, and then you end up on the other side. Take the hips around to the back, end up on that side, and we're switching from side to side. And it looks like this. Pardon my bump, but it's for the sake of art and science. And we want a nice semicircle. And now we're going to put all of this together. So let's take the hip out to the side. That knee is a little bit bent. The other foot is unweighted. We're going to come around to the front. Knees are both a little bit straighter. We're going to end up to the other side. The weight is on this standing leg. Then we're going to come around to the back. The weight is on both legs. One side, one leg, front, both legs. One side, one leg, back, both legs. And get the hips moving in a smooth circle. Doesn't have to be big. And if you're nice and relaxed, because we've given our bodies all the messages, we've got this lovely walking circle. I'm just going to turn around so you can get the kinesthetic, the mirror, the what is it? Mirror neurons. If I'm doing it and you relax and take it in, you'll be able to do it much more easily. So it's very, very relaxed. I can have a cup of tea while I'm doing this, so can you. And now don't think, just go the other way. If we think, we often freeze up. And if you get stuck or if you break down in a gale of laughter, just stop and go back to the basics. Shifting the weighted foot, doing a little bit of a half. This is like a camel moving through the desert. And then, of course, you can do the other half. So you can always go back to the beginning and put everything together. Okay, let's leave that for a little bit and just shake it out and see how all of that feels in here. And we're going to finish up with the spinal undulation that we were building up. So this is the one that has an inhalation when the arms come up and an exhalation when the chest opens. So we're going to start like this, just bending over a little bit at the hips. Now we bend the knees more, the knees come forward, then the hips come forward, then the shoulders and upper back come up. This is the inhalation. And as we exhale, we relax down. Inhale, the knees bend, the hips come through, the shoulders come up. Exhale, we relax and return to a little bit of a cat position. Inhale, knees, hips, shoulders and chest, elbows. Exhale, relax, bend the knees, curve. Inhale, knees, hips, chest, just open yourself up. Exhale, relax, curve. Inhale, knees, hips, chest. The shoulders are also lifting, so you get that extra yumminess. And two more. Exhale, roll through. Let the energy move you. We break it down at the beginning to give the body the messages, give us the steps, and then find a way to forget about the steps and just do it. One more time. Inhale and exhale. And this time, return to standing. Return to standing. Pause for a moment, feet comfortably close, whatever that means for you, to each other. Hands cradling the low belly. Been focusing on the hips, so a little bit more life force energy flowing here. Chest open, head held high. Beautiful smile. See yourself in the pink of health, radiant with life force energy, maybe a bit warm even from the movements. Smiling gently. And we'll finish with one soft flow for the whole body. Feet can stay here or be hip distance. And holding a ball of energy with the elbows slightly lifted and bending the knees. Inhale, we're going to expand the arms as though we're filling ourselves with earth energy. The palms are going to turn to face the ceiling, and as we exhale, we rise, the legs straighten. Inhale, we bend the knees, curve the arms to make a picture frame, and we're in a slight angle. And then as we rise, we exhale and we glide the energy like we're pouring the energy down through us. Let's do that again. Exhale, hands together, and inhale. Inhale, bend the knees. We're getting closer to the earth as we open up with her energy. Exhale, we're rising as the palms face the sky. Inhale, we're grounding ourselves as we cover ourselves with the merging of earth and sky. And exhale, we pour this wisdom through the very cells of our body as we rise. Let's do that one more time. Inhale, we bend the knees to ground as we become full of earth energy. Exhale, the arms rotate and we rise. Inhale, we ground once again and we collect the sky energy. We're collecting our resources. So when we exhale, we can rise up through the blessings. And let's finish by bringing our feet together. This is a little swishing to harmonize the energy and send a blessing to the earth. And then collecting everything into the low belly. Stand tall, feel rooted, no stiffness anywhere. Beautiful vertical alignment without any tightening. Smiling, breathing. And check in with your breath. I mentioned that we might have another moment where we notice our breath, and notice your breath now. Notice what feels enlivened by the breath, where the breath is flowing, how you relate to your breath. And if you can remember what your breath felt like earlier at the beginning of the session, just take a little comparison. Don't put too much effort into it, but just a little bit. Is there a shift? And any little shift, we're grateful for any shift that opens us up. So many blessings. Thank you so much for tuning in. And please think of bringing a beautiful energy into your day, smiling, breathing, walking, doing your errands, everything that you need to do today with your beautiful vertical alignment and your lovely, calm sense of effortless ease. I thank you all for joining in. Many blessings. See you next time.